Munish's question is, when we read about stories, are those stories a figment of somebody's imagination, or did they actually happen? So Matarani is here, Matarani. So when people would ask her the same question when she used to work, I mean, she's always working still, but when she used to work like in the world. So sometimes, because she was a very religious lady, many people would come to her with their questions. So a question often would be, "Kya proof hai Ram hue? Kya proof hai maa Sita hui?" Aise. So I was a kid, I was a child, and I would hear her answer when she would come home. Sometimes she would share the story. She would say, "देखिए आप पैदा हुए तो आपका नाम पड़ा. अगर आप पैदा ही नहीं हुए तो आपका नाम क्या imagination से डाल दिया." I mean, she would give the answer that you were born and that's how the name was created. The character around you was built. So think about it from this way. There's only 3 classifications of any text possible. It can fall in one of the 3 categories. A, it's fiction. B, it's non-fiction. C, it's creative non-fiction. If it's fiction, then the entire book will be fiction through and through. If something is a work of fiction, it is a work of fiction, and that's where the chapter ends or the book ends. There is no truth to it. It may be inspired by some truth, may be inspired by somebody's experiences, or maybe not. Nobody knows. When we are writing, we can create characters from our mind in an imaginary world. Second is, something is non-fiction. When something is non-fictional, when it's a work of like non-fiction, then we have to understand over a period of time, it's quite possible that multiple editions might get polluted a little. Things can get added on and things can get deleted. For example, in Devi Bhagavatam, most probably, or even Srimad Bhagavatam, I can't recall now. So you have references in the very end to Chandragupta Maurya, which makes you think maybe it was edited somewhere more than 1,000 years ago, maybe 5th century or something, or maybe it wasn't. But clearly, to say that the whole text was written in the 5th century is an ignorant statement, because when you read those chapters, sometimes you do see the discrepancy as if this was not written by the same writer. And third is, something is creative non-fiction. In creative non-fiction, what you do is you're writing non-fiction, but there is a bit of a stylized rendition to it, to make it more palatable, to make it more interesting. For example, there is a painting of mine that I saw where I've put my feet in water, and water's flowing by, and there's Swami is carrying a basket of flowers. That's creative non-fiction. I exist, he exists, but this guy has never carried a basket of flowers for me. Not once. He's carried iPhone, iPad, he's carried laptop, he's carried other things I'd rather not mention, just joking, but he's never carried flowers. So some of the scriptures can form in creative non-fiction, but because before the written word was discovered, these glories of Bharatvarsha were sung by bards, and they were called Suta. And with reverence, eventually some scriptures came where it said Suta Maharaj. Unko bhi humne Maharaj bana diya. कोई अगर बगुला मारा तो बकासुर हो गया, तो इत्यादि इत्यादि ऐसे नाम पड़ गए. So, to answer your question, to say that they never happened is definitely not the case. To say that they happened exactly how it's written, perhaps is not the case either. So somewhere, some things got added and some things got redacted from those writings. And when it comes to any of our Vedic texts or spiritual texts or religious textbooks or just text, I would just encourage you to ask yourself one question. Do I believe in Sri Krishna as God? Do I believe that Lord Rama was an incarnation of God? If the answer is yes, then all is permissible. Everything is possible then. If the answer is no, I may as well say I read a good work of fiction and put it aside. So it comes to individual faith. When Krishna says, Atva bahune ten kim gyaten tavarjuna, Vishtabhyam idam krishnam eko anshain sthito jagat. What would you do by knowing more, O Arjuna? I hold the entire gamut of creation in a fraction of my existence. Now that's a very bold and a very mind-blowing statement. It's an extraordinary statement for somebody to say that I hold the whole creation in a fraction of my existence, and having demonstrated that to the person who was a skeptic, even a cynic, although both these terms were coined much later into the Greek literature. But he demonstrated that to him, and Arjuna was left with no choice but to believe that yes, that could indeed be the case. Now, if somebody is taking that view, then suddenly all stories, all Leela, all pastimes of Krishna become possible. Quite possible for somebody to do that then. If we question that, then fine, he was just another character in the mind of that person who maybe was special, who maybe was very talented, very skilled, very extraordinary, but maybe not God in somebody's mind. Idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaye kadachana. Nacha ashu shrushvay vachyam nacha yo abhisuyati. I am telling you, Arjuna, Krishna says, do not talk about me to those who don't hold me in reverence. Don't talk about me to those who haven't done self-purification yet. They will not be able to understand me. They will question you. They will call you a fool as well. Only those who are willing to at least hear a different opinion, those who have gone through the fire of purification, those who have some devotion for me, only to those people you sing my glories. Only to those you tell who I am. To others, you better not. Because if you went out and said to somebody, I saw Krishna's Virat Roop, Krishna saying to Arjuna, who would believe you? So you must be deluded at that time, or you must have smoken pot or something. They used to do those things, right? So, lucky people. So, after a day's hard work. So, there is the seed of all those things is truth. And when the seed of a plant is truth, its leaves may still crumble, its flowers may still wither away, its boughs may still wilt under the sun. But we can't deny that the plant is the plant of truth. When that plant will become a tree, it will be the tree of truth. And I think if you read our scriptures, in the beginning, you may dismiss them or some of them as absurd. But give it time. Give it time as devotion takes place in your heart. It stakes its claim in your consciousness. You will suddenly find yourself transforming. There's a beautiful story in the life of Saint Genesis He used to be a clown in the royal court. Not exactly a clown, but like a jest, who would perform many acts. And he would routinely ridicule Christ of Nazareth, Jesus Christ. And one day, he was just mocking the act of baptism. So there was a vat there filled with water. And when he was mocking it, accidentally he fell into the vat. And when that happened, something in him changed forever. Suddenly, in that precise moment, he felt he was actually baptized, and it was the will of Christ that he spread his word. And when he emerged out of the vat, he immediately stopped his act, said to the king, "I'm sorry, I can't do this no longer. This is not my calling anymore. I don't wish to make people laugh by mocking, and hence I'm resigning this way of life." And he became a saint, forever devoting himself to the cause of Christ. Thereafter, one of the things that happened, like recently, this young boy said to our CEO at VSF, he said, "I don't believe in Hinduism. Hinduism is not cool," he said. He said, "I don't know any celebrity who embraces and talks about Hinduism," he said. "I know many on TikTok who follow the path of Islam." And he said, all the cool celebrities are either Christians or Islamic or Muslims. And he said, they're all converting to Islam. So Hinduism is the last thing on my mind, because I am yet to see any cool person say, "I am a Hindu," with a sense of pride. Gauranvit hokar, that, oh, this is what we're born into. People who are often Hindus, they don't even want the world to know they are Hindus. And his statement kind of made me think, well, it's true. How many influencers or celebrities who practice this dharma come out in the open? It's like they're hiding as if they're doing something immoral. No pride in being who they are. When you are brought up in a culture like that, when you are brought up with role models like that, it is but natural that the scriptures one day will be dismissed as figments of imagination, which in reality is the exact opposite. So the point I was making is, have the courage to read everything across all religions, because there is wealth of wisdom in everything. And also have the humility to accept, when you chance upon something amazing, that this is transforming. So, and that's how anybody would evolve. That's how anybody would go. Recently you might have seen some of my posts on Wilder, where I'm just wearing a t-shirt. I made it very clear ages ago, it's not like I sit like this all day. But the reason I thought I should come out like that, so that the future of the world, the young generation, will not dismiss what we have to offer by saying, "Oh, he is some sadhu sannyasi, we don't even know who he is. He doesn't look like us, he doesn't talk like us, he doesn't behave like us, he doesn't dress like us, therefore I don't connect with this guy." So I thought, okay, it's a small price to pay to move around normally, but to at least have people see the beauty of living a spiritual life, of living a balanced life. You don't have to live in mud huts or in the Himalayas. You could still be living in the world and doing things you like, and yet help the world and yourself in a big way. And yet you do those things. And I think that's desperately needed in this world, so that nobody ever has to question if it's history or mythology, because it most certainly is not mythology. Some stories may be exaggerated, some stories may have been added maybe, but the seed of it is pure truth and nothing else, because it won't be able to transform an individual otherwise.